You need to know something right now. The sheriff investigating Nolan Wells stayed silent for 9 straight days. 9 days of no updates. 9 days of a grieving mother waiting by her phone. Then he finally spoke. And 2 things happened in that same breath that changed everything. Promise 1. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what evidence investigators are sitting on right now. Promise 2. You'll understand the one question about that island nobody in Jackson County has answered. Here's what we know. Nolan Wells was 18. He was on Horn Island, Mississippi, over Independence Day weekend. He was last seen early afternoon on July 4th. Then he wasn't seen again. 2 days later, they found his body. For 9 days, the sheriff's office gave the public almost nothing. Reporters called. Family called. Nobody picked up. Then, without warning, Sheriff John Ledbetter broke his silence. He confirmed something the public didn't expect. The FBI is now involved in this investigation. Why would federal agents step into a local drowning case? That's not a normal move. That's not how these things usually go. If you want every update on this case the second it breaks, hit subscribe right now. Leadvale Crime is following every lead on Nolan Wells, and you don't want to miss what comes next. Because what the sheriff said, and what he still refuses to say, only deepens the mystery of what actually happened on that island. To understand why his statement raised so many red flags, you have to look at what investigators already had sitting in front of them. Let's break down the timeline. This is where Promise 1 gets answered. Nolan was last confirmed on Horn Island around 3 p.m. on July 4th. He was with a group of friends. They'd been out on the water most of the day. By early evening, he wasn't with them anymore. Nobody raised an alarm right away. Here's the first detail that doesn't sit right. Nolan's phone showed one location to his mother. It showed a completely different location to his friends' families. 2 different signals, 2 different stories. Someone eventually retrieved that phone, but it took 15 minutes to hand it back. 15 minutes, think about that. If the phone was right there, why the delay? Investigators say the public has actually helped move this case forward. This recent week, we've got a lot of valuable information that has come from the public. We put out a call to action last week for that information, and it has been very productive for us. That's the sheriff, in his own words. But here's what's still missing: the autopsy results, the toxicology report. Both are still pending, and outside labs are handling that testing. That process can take weeks. Every day without those results is a day this case sits in limbo. Meanwhile, an independent investigation is already underway. Nolan's family isn't waiting on the state alone. Attorney Benjamin Crump is representing them, and his team is working every angle the sheriff's office won't discuss publicly. So you have a phone with conflicting locations, a 15-minute delay nobody has explained, pending toxicology, and an independent legal team building its own case in parallel. Every piece of evidence you just heard raises the exact same question, and it's a question nobody in Jackson County has been willing to answer. But evidence alone doesn't explain the one gap that's kept this case in the national spotlight for over a week. Here's Promise 2. Here's the question at the center of everything. Did Nolan Wells ever actually leave Horn Island? Or was he there the entire time investigators say they already searched? That single question changes the entire shape of this case. Let's walk through why it matters so much. 1. Horn Island isn't a place people just wander onto. Patrols are supposed to confirm the island is clear before nightfall. 2. Investigators have said the exact area where Nolan was found had already been searched once before. 3. Friends who knew Nolan best say he wasn't the type to stay behind without telling someone. I don't think that Nolan would say, "Hey bro, I'm staying with this girl on the island. Y'all go ahead and go back," without even asking to get his phone back. 4. The sheriff has repeated one phrase publicly more than any other. This investigation is active. It's ongoing. That's it. That's the entire public update, 9 days running. 5. Sheriff Ledbetter has also said his office will not be rushed. But you're not asking him to rush. You're asking him to be honest about what his team already knows. Do you see the gap here? A search that supposedly already covered this location. A body found 2 days later in that same area. friends certain he wouldn't just vanish on his own, and a sheriff's office choosing silence over transparency, again and again. If the island was searched properly, how was Nolan not found sooner? And if it wasn't searched properly, why has nobody said so? That question leads directly to the people who were standing closest to Nolan the moment he disappeared. Do you think Nolan Wells ever left that island? Tell us what you think happened in the comments below. To understand that gap, you have to go back to the last people who saw Nolan Wells alive. Let's be clear before we go further. No one has been charged. No one has been named a suspect. This is suspect unknown mode, and it stays that way until facts say otherwise. But there are contradictions worth understanding. A video circulated online showing an argument on a boat that day. One friend, Traston, has publicly said the voice in that video was his own. He says he was being calmed down after an earlier altercation, unrelated to Nolan. Then there's Judge Ashley Cole. Her stepson, referred to publicly only as Warren, was among the friends on the island that day. She released a public statement. She said her family deleted social media to protect 6 underage children in the household. She said Warren has cooperated with local authorities from day one. She's calling for an independent investigation herself. Here's the detail that stops people cold. One family involved in this case has a judge inside it. Think about what that means for how information moves, and how slowly answers might come. If a detail like that unsettles you as much as it unsettles us, hit that like button right now. It helps push this story in front of more people who need to see it. None of this proves wrongdoing. None of it. But it does explain why so many people are asking the same uncomfortable question, and why the FBI's involvement suddenly makes a lot more sense. What do you make of the silence from Nolan's friend group since that day? Let us know below. Which brings us to exactly where this investigation stands right now, and where it's headed next. Here's where things stand today. The FBI is now assisting Jackson County investigators. That alone tells you this case has moved beyond a routine local matter. The autopsy and toxicology results are still pending. When they land, they could confirm what happened, or blow this entire case wide open. Nolan's family isn't sitting back waiting. Benjamin Crump's team continues building an independent investigation, running parallel to the official one. You came into this video with one goal. You wanted the truth about what happened to Nolan Wells. Right now, nobody has that yet. Not fully. Not the sheriff. Not the family. Not us. But that's exactly why this story isn't over. If you want to be here the moment new evidence drops, subscribe right now. Hit the like button. Share this with someone who needs to know Nolan's name. Leadvale Crime is following every lead until this family gets real answers. What do you think the sheriff still isn't telling the public? Drop your theory in the comments. We read every single one. Nolan Wells deserves the truth, and we're not stopping until he gets it.